Welcome to my channel. My name is Brittany and I'm a realism portrait artist. Let's get into my go-to tools for realism pencil portraits. So we're going to be using the Faber-Castell 9000 art set, and this comes in a pack of 12 ranging from 8B through to 2H, B being the softer pencils that blend easier and H being the harder pencils for fine detail that doesn't blend as easy. And now I also have a 3H pencil here, but that is one that I just find works particularly well with skin texture, and it's just a personal preference, so you can go ahead and use the 2H. And now I'm just going to give you guys a swatch on my paper pad here. So I'm just going to go from 8B through to 2H and just colouring in with those sort of zigzag motions to show you guys how the softer pencils give off a much darker look and a darker tone, and of course they're going to be much easier to blend. And I'm also just going to mark out on my paper and on the screen the pencils that we will be using the most, or the pencils that I would recommend using for realism portraits. So I'm going to mark out my 3H, the 2H, the HB, the 2B, and also I do occasionally use the 3B as well, and that's just for the softer tones. And now the 2H and the 3H of course are for the subtle details and any details that we don't want to be easily smudged. For any darker skin detailing or any other darker detailed areas, we'll be using the HB and the 2B, and same for the 3B, just softer shaded areas for that one. So we can see that these pencils have different uses. And now as for our blending brushes, this is one of my most favorite brushes, and it's the Princeton Velvet Touch Chisel Blender in size 0. You guys will notice that it has a very fine tip, and another one that we're going to be using is the flat shader version of this. So this is just a much larger sort of tip, and they are both for very fine detailing. And what I like about these is the quality of the hairs on the brush and the way that it takes quite a while to actually wear down, but it's also very easy to work with, comfortable to hold, and you can see how it's working there. And now another pencil that we'll be using is the Pit Oil Base pencil, and it's extra soft. It's also by Faber-Castell, and it is in a very dark black. Being an oil-based medium, we're getting a much darker and richer tone of black here, and this is absolutely perfect for our really pinpointed dark detailing like the pupil in the eye or hairs and just very dark shaded areas. I haven't found a pencil quite as dark as this one, and it is a much loved favorite for me. And now as for paper, I recommend to use the Daler Rowney Smooth Heavyweight paper pad. So we'll be using an A4 for this portrait, as we are going to be doing a 8x10 portrait. So this one is the A4 measurement. It's 220 GSM, and I do highly recommend looking for paper that is above 200 GSM, which is essentially just the thickness. This one is also acid free and for multimedia. So I'm going to go ahead and open that one as well and just show you that it is a smooth surface, and this is what we're looking for. We're looking for a smooth surface, but not too smooth that your product is going to glide straight over. We want a bit of tooth to it so it absorbs our product, and we also want it to be heavy weight and quite thick. And the tape that we'll be using is the Scotch removable tape for the purpose of protecting our edges. And we've also got this embossing tool for fine hair detail. So you can see that it's very fine, and what this tool does is it allows you to create detailed hair strands which with really quite minimal effort. So you can see here I'm simply embossing the paper where I want the light bits of strand to be, and then I'm going to go over it with a relatively soft pencil, and I'll be showing how to detail hair later on. And another brush that I like to use is just any sort of like blending makeup brush. They are just really, really good. And I've also got a fan brush here. I just sort of dust off the rubber excess with that. And the same with this Faber-Castell Perfection Eraser. It's got a really good brush on the end there, but it's also got a eraser tip as well if you need. And one of my most favorite erasers is this electric eraser. So it's got the button there. It's also battery powered. And what I do with this one is we'll need to sharpen it. So I recommend sharpening this throughout your portrait. So we're going to be sharpening it by pressing the button and running it along a grainy surface like a sanding block or any general block to get that really fine point. And this allows you to have really fine pinpointed detail as I'm showing here. So this is absolutely perfect for very fine specks of highlight, and it really brings your portrait to life. So we're going to be using that as well when we are detailing this portrait. And another eraser that I get a lot of questions about is this Tombow Mono Zero eraser. So this one isn't battery powered, of course, as you can see, but it's got a refill area, and you can see that I'm pressing that there just to show you guys how it is taken out and put in. So you simply just want to cut it and make sure that it is clean. And then throughout your portrait, you're going to be able to use this for hairs. As you clean it, of course, it can pick up quite a bit of product, so that's just something to keep in mind. And that is why I've got the kneadable eraser as well, and that actually really helps me to pick up any product. So we're going to be doing that with this portrait, so you can see how I am cleaning it there. And as for our sharpeners, I've just got a pretty generic small metal one here. So these are from most sort of art or stationery stores, and they're really quite sharp and just really good to use, I've found, and they just last a long time. And the other sharpener that I mostly use is the one that is the same brand as our graphite pencils. So I highly recommend this one as well, the Faber-Castell 9000 sharpener, and you can see that it goes in there, so it inserts in there, and that's sort of where the pencil shavings are collected. But I have a plastic container, so I highly recommend that if you're like me and just would rather not go to the bin every 2 minutes essentially. So just a tip there. And I've also got a Lyra sharpener as well, and this one is just really good for a round barreled pencil, so I do use that occasionally too. And now we're also going to be using some Pan Pastel compressed oil pastel. So we've got the black one here, as you can see. I also have the white one and a very light pale grey. Now what this allows us to do is mix the white in with the grey to achieve a really soft grey background, or like an array of soft grey backgrounds, or you can lighten out black. So I use these quite a bit, and with these three I can just mix as I want, and I found I haven't needed any other colours as yet. Of course it would save time, but I'm more interested in just using obviously what I've got, and I feel like that's a really good way to go. And I'm just showing it here as well, with applying a small amount of product compared to a lot more. So you can see here it's really dark. So I've included this list of tools in case you wanted to take a screenshot of everything that we've just gone through. In the next video, we're going to be preparing our reference image of Billie Eilish for our next portrait. So subscribe to stay tuned if you're interested. Hope to see you then.